Hello, everybody. Welcome to another video of Reinaldo chess lesson. Today, we are going to continue with the series of videos about how to identify a cheater. In the last video, we record about cheating over the board, but this time I'm going to show you another personal experience about online cheating. This happened in a rapid game. The time control was 10 minutes without increment. And also, I have to say that when I play those rapid games, I take this seriously because I try to compete in an active way for to be in order to be in the leaderboard. That will be the top 100 players in the. Actually, my location is very close. I think it's 167 more or less. But I got that after my last game where I won, and also I received some refund of rating points because I lost against a cheater more or less 1 week ago, and today I'm in order to teach you how can you identify that probably your opponent is cheating, and maybe if you have some idea about that, probably you can report the nickname with more confidence. In this case, I have to say that I didn't do the report, but I was very happy to receive the refund of the rating points. So let's start with the game. Also, I knew that was this game because when I investigated my last opponent, the nickname or the account of my opponent was closed by the Lichess platform. So let's start with the game. I opened the game with e4. Okay, he plays Sicilian defense, knight f3, d6, bishop b5, check. So this is known as the anti-Sicilian, bishop d7, or also Rosolimo's attack, takes, knight takes, short castle, and here he did g6. That, according to the computer, is an inaccuracy. It's not, this move is not in the top 3 engine auctions, and also doesn't appear as one of the preference on the database. The spy is there. So here we can see one of the tricky part of this. Usually people in those kind of games, if they are using engine assistant, normally they play the game by themselves initially. If the position start to be difficult at some moment, okay, they start to use the engine assistant. So, and also an inaccuracy may be just like about preference. Okay, I continue with c3, looking for d4, bishop g7, d4. He played now rook c8. That, yeah, this way to play is very infrequent. Okay, he delayed the development of the minor pieces on the king side. And now here I did rook e1, a6. And here in this position, I was very confident because he had some difficulties to complete the development of the king side because of some possible e5. So right now, the time management, he used only 30 seconds for this almost 10 move, and I use almost a complete minute. Okay, you have to play fast because it's a game without increment, and we are still in the opening phase. So here I did e5, but it's a blunder. I am losing a pawn. Because there is a very complex tactics that involve weakness in my background. So for sure, I push the pawn without see these tactics available for my opponent. But the impressive thing is that he spoke the tactics using only few seconds. If you look right now, he took here using only 5 seconds. Okay, so normally in a rapid game, when we play some committal decisions, okay, we due to the time control, we can do a second verification about what we calculate. So he took, I recaptured, and now he took on e5. So to spot these tactics that, okay, this is something that you can find probably that a player can find in a blitz or bullet game, but more by instinct. The way to play in rapid is different because usually despite that we are sure about what we are doing, we can do a second verification just to be sure because we have enough time. So it's very impressive that to spoke the tactics, okay, he just spent like 10 or 15 seconds more or less. So here, now I realize about the trick because I was thinking that my pawn was protected because I have 2 defenders and only 1 attacker. But the trick of this is that if I capture on e5, he trade queens, deflecting the defender of the knight, and I am losing material. And also, if I trade queens right now, he can just capture, and after takes, takes, there is a weak background. I will receive the checkmate. So the tactics was very complex, and he spot that in only 10 seconds, So really during the game, I didn't have any suspicions about that. I say, oh, well, I am just a back chess player, and I didn't see that, and I lost a pawn, but I cannot resign for that. I have to keep fighting. I'm doing my best because also my opponent is high rated player, and this kind of level is expected. So I didn't have any bad idea about the game so far. So okay, here I have a pawn of disadvantage, and I say, well, I don't want to trade pieces, so let's play queen a4 to see his reaction. He blocked with the queen, and now if I avoid the queen trade, he can trade knights, creating a damage in the structure. So I was more or less forced to trade queens, takes, and now I say, well, pawn of disadvantage, but let's see how can I create some kind of compensation to this, because I don't have e pawn, but I have a semi-open file here, and maybe I can use that in my favor to try to complicate the game. So I move the knight, normal developed move, looking for this trick, trying to do this, the fork, taking advantage of my pawn of disadvantage, because for each pawn of disadvantage that you have an open file or semi-open file. Sometimes when we are in those difficult positions, we have to focus at the positive things to be able to do a combat and to fight. So, well, he did b5. I continue with my plan, looking for the fork. And now, okay, 6 minutes for me, 8 minutes for him. And here he did this move using only 6 seconds. What really is a very elegant and clever move. Normally, the move where you do transversal defense are not too common and, generally speaking, difficult to spot. So he did that in fraction of seconds. That also can be, just another small time, okay? So we have at the moment quick time management, also a very fast move in critical moment of the position where he spot the weak background only in 10 seconds. And also now those kind of transversal defense that are not too common. So right now the stockfish says that the position is negative 0.3, despite I have the pawn of disadvantage and I was facing the engine, I was playing well. But as you can see, my time management, is not bad, because for sure I am thinking by myself, but I have to think very well about what I am doing. So here I did a4, because as I have better development, I am trying to create some open files to see if I can get the invasion square. He kicked the position close, and now I did bishop f4 to create intersection point, looking for probably some checks on d6. He took. Initially, I wanted to capture with the pawn, but I was worried about some trades of pieces with probably knight gf6. The position wasn't too clear for me. So for that reason, I decided to capture with the knight, also to open the file for the rook, and he continued with normal development move. So those moves are thought engine move. Rook a d1, e6, thought engine move again. Bishop d6 to prevent that he castle and coordinate. And now he did rook b6, thought engine move again. So rook e2, protecting the pawn on b2. And here he did a move that is not the thought engine move. Right now I can see only the three best move. This move doesn't appear in this auction. For that reason, the computer says that it's an inaccuracy. But really, the difference in the valuation of the position is not too much. And here he's planning just another transversal move using the outputs to try to cook the communication between my rook and the bishop. Another fantastic idea. Well, very simple, but very good. And at least here, he spent some 30 seconds. That is a good amount of time. But okay, I did 95. So I took with the rook in order to kick the bishop here to prevent that he castle. Now bishop d7, discovering attack. I came back to e2 to protect the pawn. And now rook d4. So he continued with the plan. I double rooks. And now he did here in this position f5. So at the moment you can see 7 minutes for him, only 50 seconds for me. For sure, when your position is difficult, you have to use a lot of time in order to figure out how to complicate the game. But okay, he played f5, enabling f7 for the king to be able to incorporate the other rook. I did 92 to remove the knight from the outputs, and he took here fearless about any discovered attack. For example, in this moment, there is some possible discovered attacks. The knight may be hanging, and he captured here pretty fast. Basically, he played all the game in more or less 3 minutes. So I did bishop c7 to attack the knight, and he just moved the knight without being scared about the rook getting the invasion square. So basically, he played without verify the variance. I took the background that is a blunder, and after this, I just collapsed because imagine that I could resign easily because I was playing with 9 seconds without increment and with a lot of pieces on the board. I didn't have any chance. But also, when you play those kind of games that are high rated, usually there is a lot of spectators. So imagine the situation, more or less 80 or 70 spectators during the game that are watching the game. Basically a cheater use the engine and destroy you in front of 80 spectators, destroying, part of your confidence, also your reputation, especially if you work in the platform as a chess coach. But really, I don't care too much about that because, I just try to learn and do my best. And really, at the moment, I didn't have this idea that he was cheating because I say, well, I lost a pawn in the opening. When you play bad, the position really is easy to play when you have an advantage from the very early start. And I say, well, maybe it was a correct game. Here I did bishop e5, and finally this was the last blunder because he took here. I cannot recapture because of the weak background. For sure, this was a blunder basically motive because I didn't want to trade pieces. I wanted to keep the position complex, but any complexity works when you are facing a computer because the computer is super accurate. Yeah, this is what happened in the game. But later, the next day, I received a message of the Lichess platform that my rating points, 6 rating points, were refunded because somebody was cheating in the game. So you can see here I lost 6 points and I received 6 points as a refund, and the account of my opponent was basically closed. Apart from the time management, that and the type of move that your opponent, as you can understand right now, in order to identify partial cheating, really you need a lot of experience, okay, in order to describe the kind of move that your opponent is doing and the time management invested. But also another tool that you can use is the use of centipounds. Normally, in this game, my opponent did only 3 inaccuracies, no mistakes, no blunders. Uh, Even in the best chess players in the world playing a game with classical time control makes a lot of mistakes. So really, it's a quite impressive performance. That okay, well, maybe a possible argument could be that I hung a pawn in the opening, and for sure the game was easier to play for him. That also makes a lot of sense. But when we look at the statistics of the game, when we request the engine report, the centipound loss of my opponent was 90. Normally, the fact that the loss of 70 pounds is less than 20 may be also another indicative that probably your opponent is cheating. But remember, this is multifactorial. You cannot use only one tool to identify this. This one more time, scale of our hands. Imagine if a scale of our hands, the over the board cheating. Imagine for online games. But even despite that, you have to recognize that those platforms like Lichess and Chess.com, they used to do really a fantastic job because in those games, rapid game and with partial cheating that really may be very difficult to identify uh, uh, the cheating. They are spotting some unfair play by some of the users of the platform. So grateful with the Lichess platform for this. And also, yeah, to comment that when you are competing for the leaderboard in order to be in the top 100, usually people used to do the cheating. It's more about ego. Okay, people just want to be recognized by another player as a good player. But okay, what can you do with that if you are really if you aren't a good player? So, but okay, these are some personal considerations. Okay, the reasons are really very variable. Normally, it's money as well, but okay, this is not the case. So I am sharing with you my experience about cheating during the online game, how to identify the cheater. So I hope this can be very useful for you. If you have a suspicious, yeah, don't be afraid about report, because that is another way how you can help the platforms to work better and to keep the fair play. Well, guys, this is all for this video. I hope you enjoy the content and that this may be useful for your games. Take care and hope to see you in a new video. Don't forget like and subscribe and share with your